Right. So I mean, I think Zion he's proven to be impressive, and like I was saying, I know they said Charles Barkley's weight was a problem. I think even they said Shaq's weight was a problem when he first started.
Lay down.
But he's different. That he requires that explosive leaping, whereas Charles Barkley and Shaq maybe not as much. So, I think they got to keep an eye on him, and I think he has to work on developing a mid-range shot. I think his free throws are fucking terrible. He's in the 60s or low 70s. But yeah, I mean, it could be good. One thing I have noticed about a lot of these guys, man, like Zion has small hands. Like he's not able to like palm the ball. Like it's kind of like where the ball is just on his hand.
Right.
And you know, I mean, me, I'm only 6'2" or whatever. My hands, I got big enough hands to palm the ball. And being a basketball player, that adds so much to your game. I remember playing in a tournament in Buffalo, and I like swung baseline, and the defender came, and I was able to put one hand on the backboard, and I had the ball in my other hand, and literally was able to sweep around and dunk behind him, even though he was in front of me, just because I was able to palm the ball, which you can't do, just cupping or whatever. But that was my best dunk. Even the ref, when I was going down the court, the ref was like, "God damn, that was a good dunk."
Yeah, I can attest to that too, because not that I was ever able to dunk 10 feet, but a buddy of mine, matter of fact, his name James, he'll probably be watching at some point on live. He had a court in his backyard, and it was adjustable, so we could put it down the line. I mean, I'd go to town dunking it, but I had to, cuff it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I can palm a ball now, but it's like a barely type of thing. Like it'll stay there. Right. Sometimes I'll lose the grip or what have you.
And it's this right here. So it's the width of your first finger down to your thumb, and as you can see, mine's fairly long. And I remember being a kid, I would just sit there and stretch it like that. Just keep doing this.
Yeah.
Just to try to get it as big. But I also have naturally big hands. So I've been able to palm the ball since probably I was like 12 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it amazes me, those guys, like, and we'll probably talk about this in a second, Kobe, LeBron, Zion. You don't see that palming the ball like you do, that Michael Jordan did, that Dr. J was able to do, that Connie Hawkins, I don't know if you guys remember Connie Hawkins, the Hawk.
Yeah.
Connie Hawkins was able to do, and then Kawhi Leonard obviously has fairly large hands. But yeah, like guys like Dominique wasn't a palmer.
Dominique cuffing.
So yeah, that to me, I think is a dimension of basketball that people don't take into consideration, that that's an attribute, that you can palm the ball. But I think I might actually watch the All-Star game tonight, to be honest. I think I haven't watched an All-Star game since the last one Jordan played in, I think 2003.
Right.
But I'm interested mainly for the Kobe Bryant dynamic. They renamed the award.
Yeah.
The MVP award is now the Kobe Bryant Award, which I think is awesome. I don't think it had a name before.
Right.
So that's awesome. I'm interested to see what type of tribute the players do for him. So yeah, I might actually watch the All-Star game tonight.
Do you know who was the? Because I didn't see the festivities on Friday. Do you know who was the player of the game for the rookie game, or did you?
I don't know who was the player of the game for the rookie game, but the celebrity game, Common was actually the MVP. Yeah, Common was the MVP of the celebrity game.
Never seen.
But
Common.
usually it's like Kevin Hart's won it like 3-4 times, I think.
Yeah. I've never seen Carmen play basketball other than that movie. Just right or whatever.
I've seen it play.
So, but so Saturday night they had the dunk contest.
The dunk contest.
And
which a lot of people are saying was the best dunk contest of all time. Which I'll disagree. I don't care. I don't care what they did.
Yeah.
Jordan Neek 88 is the best dunk contest.
Yeah,
ever.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah, I knew you.
I wasn't going to disagree with you, but
Jordan Neek, that was.
I will say, more recently,
most entertaining. I would say.
More recently, they have had some good dunk contests, and honestly, I think both the ones that Aaron Gordon was in were really good. I personally think Aaron Gordon probably should have won it. I forget the young man that won the dunk, but he did some spectacular dunks. I'm not saying,
when I watched the things that I saw, he just repeated like through the legs, bounce it through the legs, jump over somebody through the legs, through the legs. It was like a repetition of the same thing, just in different varieties, and that to me, that's not impressive.
I got what you're saying.
It's impressive, but it's not impressive because you're literally just doing the same thing. Like Aaron Gordon, who I'm not a fan of, and I am not a fan of 6'10", 6'11", 7-footers being in the dunk contest. I don't care about that's not impressive. You should be able to dunk. You should be able to do some shit, but the creativity and the variety that Aaron Gordon had, I think, put him over the top and gave him the edge. Even though he's 6'10", I think the other guy was like maybe 6'7", 6'8".
I'll even go further than that, though. I think to be that tall and show the amount of athleticism. Because usually, like Dwight Howard, he looks like a stick out there.
Yeah, he's very stiff.
Let me throw it up and catch it off the backboard with the Superman cape on. I'm sorry, I don't like Dwight Howard at all. Never have.
Me neither.
At all. I feel like he's stolen Shaq's whole persona with the Superman thing. I do think Shaq has shown.
Stole it from me.
I do feel like Shaq has shown some immaturity as far as some of his speakings about Dwight Howard and whatnot.
Well, they laugh about it now, though. I think initially he was a little like, "Come on, dude, really?"
Yeah. Well, he's not only done that kind of thing to Dwight, he's done it to JaVale McGee too, which is horrible.
Well, no, that was
JaVale's mom got involved.
That was personal.
Yeah.
Well, Shaq's mom got involved. Shaq's mom literally told him to stop.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Literally, Shaq's mom said, "Look, man, you cut that out."
Yeah.
And he was like, "You know what? I respect my mom, and because I respect my mom, I'm gonna stop."
That's funny because that's not the only thing I've seen a mom get involved in. The whole Jay-Z Nas beef. Jay-Z had made statements about sleeping with Nas's baby mom. Okay. And Jay-Z's
what's
mom.
What's her name? Keish?
Oh my God, what's her name?
Keish?
It starts with a K, I believe.
It's that milkshake.
No, not Khalees. Not Khalees. This was
different. Okay.
Yeah. I forget her name. Oh my God.
And we're gonna probably have to put that light on.
But she's hold on. Time out. She
Oh, look at that! Look at
what? She not only slept with Jay-Z, but she also slept with AI. Okay, she wrote a book. Her name's Carmen Brian, I think is her name. She wrote a book about it. But anyway, Jay-Z's mom had got involved when he said all that and said, "Look, you went a little bit over the line," and that's kind of when Jay-Z and Nas finally made peace. It had something to do with Nas' mom dying too, because he called him to check with him, to see if he was okay. So I'm glad.
Yeah, because some things extend beyond stupid shit.
Yeah, so I'm glad those two brothers could, get on one page and actually work together, and supposedly they're somewhat friends now,
I mean, they were in a video together.
Yeah, but you still don't know how much of that is business and how much is real.
But you got to be on set with them, and that's a long time.
So there's some kind of peace. Yeah, I agree with you,
that's
but I don't know if they're like friends like me and you are friends.
Oh, no.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I mean, I've been on a movie set before, so I know that's a long ass hole. And I think I only filmed 2 scenes, and we started at 5 in the morning, and didn't finish till way, way late at night, like 8, 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
So That's a long ass time for me being on screen for 15 seconds. Not even 5 seconds.
I hear you, and I agree, but you still got to wonder.
There's cordial, and then there's friendship, but I mean it's not beef though. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're not going to be in a video with somebody that, as a general rule, that you have somebody that you have beef with.
So, in the comments, if you guys want to chant in on about if you think Aaron Gordon got robbed in the dunk contest, or if you thought the gentleman whose name I can't remember, I know there's a junior in there.
Yeah, I can't remember his
name.
But
if you think he won or you thought Aaron Gordon won, please comment. Let us know in the comments on YouTube.
And who do you think will be the All-Star MVP tonight? I would venture to say that they're going to feed LeBron, and LeBron's going to be the All-Star MVP tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to say Anthony Davis.
Nope.
I'm going to say Anthony Davis or Giannis Antetokounmpo wins the MVP.
I feel like they're going to try to make it. LeBron is always chasing Jordan. This is in Chicago. Jordan built Chicago, but it's the town of Michael Jordan. LeBron's always chasing Jordan. The Kobe tribute, etc. I feel like they'll feed LeBron.
Speaking of Jordan, I think Jordan will be the only athlete tied to 3 cities. Because everybody's going to claim him because, they consider him the greatest basketball. So he was born in New York. Born
in Brooklyn, yeah.
Carolina was where he spent a lot of time of his life and went to college.
Almost all of his life.
And Chicago.
Yeah.
I can't think of another. Can you think of another athlete tied to 3 different
I would actually say Jordan's tied to 5.
5, what would be the other 2?
Because I would say Washington.
Utah for breaking their heart. Washington.
Okay.
But, I don't feel like he was there long enough to... I mean, of course, people are like, Jordan's here in Washington.
No,
but
I mean, they had... so, Jordan has, I guess, people might not know, but Jordan has restaurants in different cities.
Okay.
They moved a restaurant to Washington. So, I mean, when he was there, it was a big deal. So I would say he's tied to Washington a little bit. It would be his first failure as a general manager.
Well, he wanted Kwame Brown there, didn't he?
Yes, but then he tortured the shit out of him.
I think that's the biggest Jordan failure of his career. Wow. Is Kwame Brown.
and he's also tied to Arizona. His mom lives in Arizona. He has a restaurant in Arizona, and he played summer baseball in Arizona.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So yeah, he has.
No, damn.
He has a lot of ties to Arizona as well.
Good girl.
So yeah, I would say Chicago, North Carolina, New York, just because he was born there, but he also performed like at his highest when he played in Madison Square Garden and all the time.
Yeah, he did.
And that was a great rivalry in the 90s. And then the 2 lesser known ones would be Washington and Arizona. But yeah, it's weird. Yeah, most people don't know unless you're like a crazy Jordan person.
Yeah.
That his mom lives in Arizona.
I just want to shock y'all right now. I am not a Jordan fan at all.
I am, and Michael Jordan's birthday is actually tomorrow, so it's on my calendar.
Yeah.
But that's... This is a horrible week for me, at least financially. February 10th is Celine's birthday. February 14th is Valentine's Day. Although I'm single now, so I got away with that. February 15th was my twins, Caitlin and Carter's birthday. So yesterday was the twins' birthday. They turned 17. Happy about that.
Happy birthday.
1 more year of child support. Today is actually my older brother's birthday. He's 1 year older than me. He's turning 47 today, I think. So it's my older brother's birthday today, and then Michael Jordan's birthday is tomorrow, obviously. So.
And we don't care how old he's turning.
he will be 57.
He knows. That's bad.
He's 10 years older than my brother. It's easy. My brother was 73, Jordan 63. So it's I just know because I know how old my brother is. But whatever. Tomorrow's
Shout out Dominique Wilkins. If you ever want to come on the show, Dominique,
Dominique was at the dunk contest yesterday.
Was he?
Yes, Dominique was there.
Yeah, I remember when Josh Howard took off his New Atlanta jersey.
Yes,
and he had the Dominique under. Of course, that was I was.
It wasn't Josh Howard though. It was Josh. It was Josh, but it was Josh Smith.
Josh Smith. I'm sorry. Josh Howard played for the Mavericks.
Yes, it was Joshua Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he was another one, left-hand dunker.
I saw him play live at the Sixers stadium. Went and watched the Sixers game, and it might have been like his last season with Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Josh Smith, left-handed dunker.
And I kept waiting for him to have a ridiculous dunk, and he had a fast break and went for a dunk, but he got fouled, and the whole crowd. I tell you what, as much as Phillies fans get a bad rap, if somebody does something spectacular in the stadium, they definitely will kind of cheer it on. You know what I mean? And then go right back to hating them right in the next song.
I remember, this is a weird story, but I remember reading Bob Uecker's book. Remember Bob Uecker?
The baseball
yes.
guy? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Bob Uecker tells a story in a book. I don't even know why the hell I even was reading
He's a Chicago guy, right?
Atlanta, I thought. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Milwaukee, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I remember reading Bob Uecker's book, and I don't know why I was reading it.
Right.
But Bob Uecker tells a story about being in Philadelphia and a fan falling from one level to the next level, and he wasn't a Phillies fan, so they cheered when he fell.
Oh.
And I was like, God damn.
Wow. That's
and this is before
Snowballs at Santa Claus.
Well, I don't know. Snowballs at Santa, I don't know.
I think it's worse, man. At least the Santa was fake, and he
but they were throwing like
but falling from
one level to the next.
Another and cheering.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember the name of the book. I think it was speaking of my older brother, I think it was my older brother's book.
Right.
And I just happened to read it because I would always read his books. Like, that's how I read the Lord of the Rings books. My older brother had them. That's how I read Call of the Wild, White Fang, Black Boy. Have you ever read Black Boy?
No, Black Boy is W.E.B. Du Bois.
I don't remember who wrote it.
Okay.
But it was like required in 8th grade or whatever. But Black Boy, great story.
I know of the book. I've never read it.
It's a great story. And I would read all these books that after my brother read them. So yeah, Philly fans, crazy. Philly is the only place I've ever seen a football game. So.
I am a Sixers fan, even though I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm a Giants fan, but I am a Sixers fan. And I can say, I can't speak for Eagles fans, you know what I mean? But I can say that at least all the Sixers games I've been to, there's never been nothing real crazy out of there. And I've been a Sixers fan since the Wells Fargo. I haven't been a Sixers fan since before it was Wells Fargo.
Spectrum.
Thing. Right.
See, I wasn't a Sixers fan, but I saw Michael Jordan at the Spectrum, Chicago Bulls '93. Phil Jackson got tossed like 2 minutes into the game. I remember Michael Jordan's stat line. I don't need to look it up. He was 21 for 29. He had like 40 some points. Yeah. So, I will say this, and I remember my dad taking us to see the Harlem Globetrotters in the Spectrum.
Oh, nice.
And we were like way high up, like you could barely see what was going on. But I remember going to the Spectrum to see the Harlem Globetrotters with old Curly Deal and Goose and those guys. So
I've never seen the Globetrotters. My son has though.
You haven't seen? They're coming to Delaware in March.
No, I did not. Are they going to be where the Bluecoats?
UD.
Okay.
They'll be a UD in March 13th ish. So they're in Philly. I want to say maybe March 7th. They have 2 shows, one at 12, one at 7.
Got you. And mentioning the Bluecoats, any Delaware residents, if you haven't seen a Bluecoats game, it's actually a pretty good time.
Well, so are the what's the baseball team?
The Blue Rocks.
They're not bad to watch.
No, they're not bad to watch, but I'm much more, he's probably
That's more exciting. Yeah.
Exactly. It was a pretty good time when I went. I will say this, though, about the Bluecoats, even though I didn't want to do anything critical. Their food there sucks. It looks like they microwave burgers and whatnot, and it's just kind of, it's like school lunch food that they serve there, and it's mad overpriced, which at any sporting event, the food's
everything's
overpriced.
mad. So I will tell you why I don't and wouldn't go to a Bluecoats game. So literally, that Acme right there, those, and it was probably like 3 years ago, so they might not even be on a team anymore, but there was like 4 or 5 players in there, and they were just like cursing, saying nigga this, nigga that, and I just didn't like, I was with Selena, she was maybe 3.
Right.
I'm like, there's little kids around. You don't do that when little kids are around. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be better than that.
Yeah, you would think so.
So that kind of turned me off to that whole blue coat thing. And like I said, they may not play for the team anymore, so I'm not knocking it. But yeah, that just turned me off. I don't like that. Like, come on now.
I understand.
You gotta know where you're at.
Well,
what is it?
You got professional at all times, because
know where you are, like know your audience, basically. That can be cool if you're in the locker room. That can be cool, if me and you were sitting here. But if say Selena was sitting here, she's 6, you got to cater to your audience, and you can't talk like that around little kids or just people you don't know, because that's the impression you're leaving on them. And that's one of the things Michael Jordan, he always said, he performed, he behaved, he dressed in a suit and tie, whatever, the way he dressed, the way he talked, the way he acted, he did it because he always felt like this would be the one time in somebody's life that they got to see him, and this would be the only time that he was able to leave an impression. And what type of impression do you want to leave on him? You know what I mean?
And I will say, as much as I'm not a Michael Jordan fan, he did always conduct himself well in the public eye. And that was even before cell phone, camera phones, and everything were big like that. Now, you live in a time where everything's recorded. I don't care where you go. You know? And the simplest mistake can, have you out of the league just because people don't want to deal with your attitude or how you act or what have you. Antonio Brown is a pretty decent example of nobody wanting to deal with you. However, I don't think anything with him was caught on camera. But just,
I mean, Twitter.
Yeah,
that's your own dumbass fault. You're posting shit on Twitter that.
But now he's apologizing for it.
Now you're apologizing, right? Yeah, now it's like, come on, dude, come on.
Because he's trying to get back in the league.
He's essentially ostracized, and he wouldn't even be able to play regardless, just because of all the allegations that he has. The NFL would exercise that right to not let him do anything. So he's not playing anyway. Yeah. But I mean, it is good that he's apologizing. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That's
if it's
at
sincere.
Least acknowledging your behavior was wrong and trying to move forward.
Well, some people apologize, and I hate this. Some people apologize just for cosmetic reasons. You understand?
Yes.
To make it look good or whatever.
Absolutely.
You can keep all that.
Yeah.
I hate that. I absolutely hate that. If you meant what you said, I mean, this is for anybody. I ain't talking about athletes or anything else. If you meant what you said, stick with that.
Own it.
Yeah. If you're honestly sorry and you're apologizing, that's very acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, people make mistakes.
And we weren't going to talk about this, but I'll even go so far as to say the whole we talked about on our last podcast with Gayle King and Snoop, and he kind of did the whole you bitch thing, and now he's apologizing, but I don't think it's a sincere apology. I think it's
yeah, let me get this heat off of me.
Public relations type of thing. But I think he meant it. And I think he should own it. Like, if that's how you felt, what she did was like he said, out of pocket. Disrespectful. So he meant every bit of that shit that he said about her. Because that's how he felt in the moment. And I understand the apology that, okay, a week later, thinking about it, reflecting on it, maybe I shouldn't have went that far. But that was your raw emotion. That was your feeling at the time. So you shouldn't apologize for it.
No, I don't think you should either, because that's exactly what he meant. That's exactly what he meant, and I think everybody thought it.
It's just like bad time. Like what she did was bad timing. It wasn't the appropriate time to do or say this. I think we've talked about this last week. The dude hadn't even been buried with his kid.
Right.
You just don't bring, like, she was wrong.
Right.
And sometimes you need to kick somebody in the teeth and tell them they're wrong instead of putting your arm around them and saying, oh, well, maybe, that's one of the things that's wrong in our society, I feel like, is, and I hate to call her out, Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. One of the worst things ever said in the history of the world. Because that's not true. You don't stop a bully with kindness. Killing them with kindness works sometimes, but there are situations where when they go low, you kick them in their teeth and they will leave you alone.
I'm a big believer in sometimes you got to meet force with force. I'm a big believer in that. And I know some people don't like to hear that, but I'm sorry. You're exactly right. Sometimes, what's that saying? Kid doesn't really know not to touch the stove until it gets burned. Right? So you burn that person, they're going to be a little less ready to do the same thing.
I have, unfortunately, now you might not look at me this way because you know me to be more diplomatic and all that stuff. But I've always, since I was a kid, had the mentality that if you hit me with a pebble, then I throw the planet back at you just to leave me alone. And that's all it is. Just leave me alone. I'm not trying to hurt you. I just want you to leave me alone. And that's a product of being bullied. I was bullied my whole life. I was young when I was in school. I was a product of a mixed marriage, all this stuff. So I had to do stuff to make people leave me alone.
Right.
And sometimes you have to go to the extreme to get people to leave you alone. And when, I know we don't want to get into politics, but you can't attack somebody and then get the whole turn the other cheek and come out looking good on the other side. You just can't.
I honestly think that some of these phrases you just brought up were the antagonizers that came up with the statement. In other words, as a reverse psychology almost, in some sense, to keep you from reacting to it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying all of them. I think some people, might have had a good heart and came up with the statement, but a lot of times I almost think that it was the antagonist.
I'm sure Michelle Obama had great intentions and kind of like the whole, you don't want to get into a pissing contest. You don't want to get into this. But there are people in this world that you do have to do that. There are bullies that don't understand anything but you punching them right back. Look, if you're pushing me, they don't understand anything until they get punched in the nose.
Right.
And then they'll stop. I think there's, it was probably maybe like 7-8 years ago where, there was a video. I think the dude's name was Casey, but he was like a kind of chubby kid. He was in school. Somebody videotaped this kid that was smaller than Casey, like just punching him in the face. The kid's not doing anything. He's just getting punched in the face repeatedly. And the kid's like tall and blah 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 blah. And then finally, the dude picks him up and power bombs him on the ground.
Cement? I think I saw this video.
It's Casey. There was a meme out of it. But, man, that kid will never do that again.
Right.
Ever. Mm-hmm. And that's sometimes what you have to do.
Yeah, sometimes when people cross the line, you got to cross it with them. As simple as that.
That turn the other cheek, I understand. We grew up learning about Martin Luther King and peaceful, and they can turn hoses on you, let dogs loose on you, and beat you with sticks and all that. But man, that was 1960, whatever. That's not the way of the world now. They don't respond to that. If you allow them to do that, they will continue to do that. Mm-hmm. You have to stop it, or no one will. Yeah. So, I don't agree with an apology. I think that the extremity of what Gayle King said deserved the response that she got. So Snoop didn't threaten her life. There was people that were threatening her life. Right. That's over the line.
That's way over.
That's too much.
Yeah.
But what Snoop said, what Boosie said, what 50 Cent said, none of that stuff was over the line. Calling her a bitch is how they felt in the moment, and that was okay to me.
I hear you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think he could have done it without calling her a bitch. However, what she did was very strong. It just happened that she did not curse in it. So
it was in the moment.
Snoop saying whatever he said wasn't. I think what she did was way worse. I'll put it that way. Okay.
But it was in the moment also.
Yeah.
Like, all you know is a dude that you've hung out with, that you, like, take anybody on this planet that you've hung out with, that you spent time with, that you know their kids and etc. And someone turns around and literally within a week of them dying, they say something negative about them, you're going to react. You're going to have a primal reaction that this is what I'm going to do. You know, it's almost like if somebody punches in your face, you have a primal reaction. You react. Either you sit there and you're stunned, or you have a natural reaction to just boom, you throw a fist back. It's just a reaction, and you shouldn't apologize for that, because that's reality.
Now that you put it that way, because when I'm thinking about, as soon as you said that, I got a buddy, I'm not going to use his name, but I'll call him Sir Blanco. He'll know who he is from that. And his father recently passed away. Now, if somebody had... Now, I had a personal relationship with his father as well. You understand? If somebody had said something like that about his father, it probably wouldn't have been a B word. It'd have probably been me going to the studio if I could get in there.
But it's a natural reaction. It's a primal reaction, and that's part of being a human being, and that's not something you should ever apologize for.
Yeah. So
it's not.
So putting it that way, I kind of see it a little bit better. You know, now that I've thought about it that way. But at first, I was just like, all right.
Because we're thinking of it in Kobe terms. We're thinking of it as, how did Snoop feel about Kobe? But think about it in your terms. Think about it as if it happened to
personally
you.
Happened to you. Yeah, that makes.
If it was you, and that changes the dynamic, and that's how those people felt. That's how Snoop felt. Me and you didn't know Kobe. I don't know Kobe from a can of paint. Right. Nobody, that we knew Kobe. But think about somebody that did know him, right, and how they felt, and that makes a world of difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we were upset as people that don't even know this dude.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Think about somebody that has spent time with this. Probably, were over each other's house and ate dinner and hung out and spent a lot of time, and you put that dynamic in it, and come on, man.
Yeah.
That. His reaction was what it was, and he should own it.
Yeah.
So you know what? It was what it is. She didn't apologize for what she said. At no point did she ever apologize. All she said was,
I'd have been mad with myself too.
I would have been mad with myself, like some self-serving. Like, you didn't even apologize. So why is Snoop apologize? She just turned into the victim. I didn't know the network would blah blah. Come on, man.
She did really play the victim role. Yeah.
Come on. That's a bit too much.
100%.
All right.
On that note,
time out.
We are taking a break.